Welcome everyone to our practice today. I would like to look a little bit into the mother stage is gone. But rather than being hung up on the mother itself, we could also see that as Mother Earth or mother figures, not necessarily even female, in our lives that kind of do a bit of nurturing for us, a bit of caring. But also Mother Earth, very important to perhaps focus on in that sense. And with that being said, there's also the element of love and care generally, and perhaps even a part of unconditional love. To begin our practice with, I would like to start seated today. If you would like to use a block, that might come in handy for the seated position. However, not many other props are needed at this point. I will choose a comfortable, easy position or Sukhasana. So I'll place one leg in front of the other. If this isn't yours, you could, for example, sit towards your heel. You might also extend your legs out. I would recommend to have a bit of space behind rather than sitting against a wall today. I'd love to practice some of the movements that we explored last week in a seated position today. However, when we get to them, you have the option of choosing to lie down and basically repeat what we've done last week if the seated version doesn't suit your body. So for now, let's rest the hands down. Let's lean a little bit back, moving towards the tailbone, yet not sitting on it, rather choosing that space in between. Let your shoulder blades relax down either side of the spine, which might already give you a slight sense of openness across your chest. If you like to turn the palms of your hands upwards, you might contribute to that openness slightly. And if a little helper with concentration is yours, you could touch your index and thumb together, creating Gyan Mudra to assist. The other three fingers would be extended. And if it's available to you, you might lower your gaze or gently close your eyes. Perhaps starting to notice first how you are sitting. The weight of your sitting bones against your support. How the legs are helping to stabilize the seat. How your abdomen might gently move with each breath. How the breath might enter slightly into the rib cage and perhaps a subtle movement here. How your head is positioned, perhaps moving the neck gently. When you're ready to center the head again, you might also notice that there's a flow of breath coming through your nostrils. And to focus on the breath moving through the nostrils. Starting to deepen this breath. Slowly taking your breath towards the diaphragm so the belly expands, up towards the ribs, filling your lungs. And on the out breath, letting your belly come in, the wrists relax, the upper chest finding ease again. So a 3-part breath, if you wish, belly, ribs to collarbone. The flow comes in and out of the nostrils in that same pattern. Moving down, lower lobes of the lungs until they're very full right to the top. And then emptying again as your belly comes back before your ribs release too. Let the breath flow for just a few more breaths. Concentrating on the breath itself. And although it might be familiar, still being curious in your observation. You might now gently open your eyes to keep your breath flowing. If you prefer your eyes closed, that is an option. And on your next inhalation, starting to slowly turn the head to one side. For the exhalation, turning the head to center. Inhaling, the head turns to the other side. Exhaling, back to center. Let that flow for a few more rounds. Just turning the head from side to side. Slow, gentle movement into the neck. No stress or strain. The deep flowing breath to start with, helping us clear out. The movements now starting in the extremities. And on your next imbalance, left and right side, you might center the head again. Allowing yourselves to pause here for a few breaths. Acknowledging sensation, but keeping your breath flowing deeply. You might now release the mudra from your hands and instead touch the palms of the hands together in front of the chest. If this feels good, wonderful, keep it like this. Perhaps you would like to join the forearms and elbows too. If your practice is lying down, it might be better to keep the knees bent and the feet on the floor for the lower back. On your inhalation, opening the arms out, cactus style, making soft fists on either side. On the out breath, releasing the fists again, joining the palms or even the forearms. We'll repeat that. On the in breath, making soft fists, opening your arms. On the out breath, releasing the fists and joining palms and forearms. Breathing in is opening and out to close. Almost like a window as you open it up and then closing again. Perhaps you fuse evenly nights in nature, the sun shining on some beautifully colored leaves, highlighting the colors. Perhaps an adoration that comes in as we open our heart space with these movements too, of Mother Nature's beautiful creation in this season. Opening the arms once more as you breathe in. And then releasing the arms into a gentle twist as you turn to your favorite side. Center yourself as you open the arms with soft fists again, inhaling. And on the exhale, turning with a soft twist to your second favorite side. Opening arms with gentle fists one more time. And the exhale to just join the palms of the hands together, perhaps closing the eyes. Maybe a subtle bow of your head towards your heart. The heart might lift lightly towards the head, perhaps honoring what you would like to honor in that sense of mother, mother nature, a mother figure, unconditional love. As you might release now your fingertips down towards the floor, using the fingertips to lightly lean into and stepping both feet out in front. I will choose to do this movement sitting on the floor, but it's definitely also possible on a block. I just feel a little bit more grounded doing it that way. So I will leave my block out to the side. Feel free to copy that or leave it there. Ideally, your hands are now coming out a bit wider, just the fingertips onto the floor. And you might lean a little bit back to that space between your sitting bones, but leaving your spine upright and long. It feels a little bit like you're sitting in Navasana or a boat pose. With that, your core muscles are already on to support you. Then here, this movement can be done lying down as you start to flex your right foot. Take a breath in and slide your heel out so the leg extends over the mat. Then point the foot, and as you brace out, slide the foot back onto the ground. We'll keep doing that with the right leg. As you extend the leg out, point the toes to the ceiling, your in-breath. As you point the foot on the out-breath, drawing the foot back onto the ground. Maintain that length in your spine, stability in your seat, as you repeat that movement a few more times. Keeping your heel or foot on the ground and just sliding it there. A lot of inner strength in the torso, stability in the rest of your body. When you come to the next round, you can still continue as you are, but you might as well hug the knee right up towards your chest. Then land the heel back down, spread your fingers back out, lengthen the spine, and inhale to extend your leg out slowly. Pointing the foot, and while you brace out, draw it in, or even hug it up towards the chest. Then land the heel again, get your arms stabilized, extend out long, last round. Pointing the foot, and as you brace out, bring it back, perhaps even hugging in. As you might now land your foot down firmly, take a brief hold of the backs of your thighs. Draw yourself back into that beautiful long spine. If you can hold here, stay. If it's possible, join the hands. Keep that slight leaning back so your core is on, and add a 3 rounds of opening your window as you make light sits, inhaling. On the exhale, joining the palms, maybe even the forearm. Keep the spine long, that light leaning back for inner strength. And feel free to lie down if it's getting easier that way. You completed your 3 rounds. Open the arms again, landing your fingers back to the ground. Lift again lightly through your heart. And that slightly leaning back position. And begin to flex the left foot. On the breath in, sliding your leg out long, the heel stays on the ground. Pointing the foot, and while you brace out, landing the foot back onto the mat. As you continue that same movement over and over again, there's a flexion as you inhale, there's a pointing on the exhale. But more important is that your spine is long, you're only supporting with the fingertips, you're getting the extra bonus of inner strength as well. Helps reminding yourself each time the foot comes back about that length in your spine. It's like leaning back position. Now one more. And you might then for the next 3 rounds continue just as it is. Or you might do as it is on the inhale, but then draw the knee up to the chest as you exhale. As you land your heel back down softly, arms go wide, spine lengthens, and we're sliding back out in the same way on the in-breath. Then pointing the foot again on the out-breath, the option of hugging the knee towards the chest. Landing the heel back down, open your arms, breathing in last round, extending, find stability. Then point the foot, and on the out-breath, drawing your knee perhaps back in towards the chest. Then land your foot back down more firmly. Hold on to the backs of your thighs. Pull yourself long, lean a little bit back towards your boat. If you find you want a proper boat, lift the feet off the floor. It may sink though, so be careful. And if you can hold here, and if not, maybe it's just the toes on the ground. Bring the arms or hands to touch again. We'll go for another 3 rounds to open our window. On the inhale, open up. On the exhale, close. You might now have your heels off the floor or the feet sitting in a boat while you're opening your windows. Gentle fists and releasing the hands to touch again. Last one. Then release your hands down. Extend the legs for a moment. Flex and point your feet. Moving gently through the joints of the feet and the ankles. And then you might have to use your block again, perhaps popping that back underneath you. And if you have been sitting in an easy pose before, you will come into the same one again. If it's all right, you might change the foot in front, finding a supported yet comfortable seated position, resting your hands down, perhaps closing the eyes again and allowing yourself now a moment to pause. Keep the shoulder blades close towards the spine, so the front is open. Take a note of any energy shifts in the body, sensations perhaps that you might be feeling. As you sit here in silence, perhaps think back about our topic today, the unconditional love, perhaps towards the mother figure, maybe towards Mother Earth. Maybe an intention arises from these thoughts. And be it as simple as, I spend time in nature. If you found an intention for yourself repeated 3 times, which now leads us into our pranayama or breathing practice. You can choose to practice the V-breath or Brahmari, a humming breath where we inhale enough and then exhale and hum the breath out while we're exhaling to the point where it's still easy to breathe in again. You can choose to do that as you sit here, or you could choose to close off your senses. If that is you, place the thumb here in front of the ear and close it gently. You might then rest your middle and index finger over both eyes, each side of course, and you might close your lips by using your ring finger and little finger gently squeezing the lips together. As I said, this is only an option. You can do it without the closing of the senses. As we begin the humming breath now with the inhalation, please keep humming. No need to wait for anyone else. So let's start breathing in. Mm. 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 Last one. Mm. Keeping eyes closed if available and resting your hands. Paying attention to the inside, where the resonations of the humming went, how your body and mind are feeling now. There you might blink your eyes open, releasing your hands and coming in towards a kneeling position. So I will remove my block. If you need a little blanket, you might place that underneath the knees, or perhaps you have some knee pads to support you. If you can, spread your hands out wide onto the mat, the hands resting at about shoulder distance. If this feels challenging, cushion the wrists or step up onto fists instead. Also ground to the shins and the tops of your feet. And while you breathe in, pull the hands a little bit inwards, let the body rock forward. And as you breathe out, push the hands away from you and let your body rock backwards. Repeat that a few times. The stability of hands and legs into the floor, and just a rocking movement forward and back of the body. No excessive movement, rather keeping it moderate. And next time you've pushed yourself backwards, so the body is moving backwards, come to center yourself when you breathe in. Extending now with stability in the rest of the body, the right leg out as you breathe in. With the exhale, draw your knee and nose together underneath around the spine. On the inhale, extend the leg and lengthen. On the out breath, draw knee and nose together. Repeating for 3 more breaths. And with the last breath, you might keep your knee hugged in towards the chest. If it's possible, step the foot through. If not, help it there. Placing hands or fingertips down either side of that front foot, aligning your knee here over the ankle joint. Your choice is to keep the hip over the back knee or wiggle your foot further forward and lean your hip towards the front. One is a kneeling lunge, the other one is a horse rider pose. That's the one when you're leaning forward. You might lift up a little bit through the spine. And if things feel good, you might use your legs to lift up tall, reaching your arms up. Might notice that I move back out of the hip stretch. That's for my personal stability, but you could stay lunging forward. Both arms might be reaching upwards, and so could your gaze. You might even lift your heart as you breathe in. And on the out breath, landing your hands back down onto the floor. Take the foot from the front and sweep it back up behind you. As you're now lengthening the leg out, the spine comes long. On your exhale, draw your knee up towards your shoulder. For the inhale, rotate and lengthen your spine again. The exhale, draw the knee up towards the shoulder. Repeat that for 3 more breaths. And on the last one, when you get there, no need to rush anything. Hold your knees, flex the foot, and take a breath in to extend your legs sideways. As you place the foot down onto the ground, align the foot roughly with the knee on the floor. Then walk your hands back up towards the knee and roll up through your spine. As you rise to stand, align your hip here over the knee. The right leg is extended out directly to the side. The foot might be stepped onto the floor. If you feel that is a bit difficult, perhaps use a block on the other side to lean onto. Perhaps the leg comes out anyway. Joining then the palms of the hands together in front. And on an inhale, perhaps opening your arms out wide, the palms of the hands facing upwards. And for your out breath now, tipping your scales as you lean towards the extended side and reaching perhaps the arm over the head, shoulder to floor. For this, the hand can always rest in the side of the waist instead. But the hand that you place onto the leg is very gentle and soft. You might look forward here, or you could turn your gaze down, perhaps even upwards, allowing a slight deeper side bend on your next exhale. Then lift yourself back up and reopen the arms as you breathe in, landing your hands back down onto the mat, pointing out to the foot and the extended leg, and circle it back behind, your knee coming again towards the mat. As the back on all fours, adjusting if you need to. And for your next inhalation now, the left leg is extending back. The out breath to draw your knee and nose together, rounding the spine. Breathing in, extending. Out as you curl in. Keep moving like this, length on the in-breath, rounding nose to knee on your out breath. 2 more. And with the last one, could you hold your knee in towards your chest, either landing the foot forward or helping it there. You might then come up onto your fingertips and decide whether you stay here in a kneeling lunge or whether you wiggle your foot further forward, lean the hips towards the front for horse rider pose. Maintaining here the length in the spine, and if it feels right, using your legs and reaching your arms up. You might have both arms reaching up. If that feels right, you can rest them to the heart space at any time. As you might lift your gaze, perhaps even the sternum or the heart space. Finding balance in your lunging position. On the inhale, reach back up. On the exhale, releasing your hands back down onto the floor. The foot from the front, slide it right back and extend the leg out long away from your mat. With the exhale now, draw your left knee to the left shoulder. On the inhale, lengthen out, back over your mat. Exhaling, knee back to the shoulder. Repeating for 3 more breaths. Keep the pace, moving deliberately. Perhaps even enjoying that little squeeze up the side of the body. And the last one you might hold here, then flex your foot, take a breath in to extend your leg sideways, and you might land the foot on the ground, aligning it with the knee on the floor. And you might then slide your hands up towards this knee, curl up through the spine. Bring the hands to touch as you align your hip directly over the knee. The other leg might be extended out to your side. On the breath in, arms open wide, palms might be facing up. On the exhale, tip the scales towards the extended leg. Arm might extend even all the way over the leg, or hand might rest in the side if your shoulder feels a bit sore here. Doesn't take anything away from the side bend. What might, however, is if you were to place weight onto the hand. The lower hand stays very light and just slides down. You might choose to look at it. You might choose to look forward or even turn your gaze up. Perhaps finding a bit of depth in the side bend by keeping your hand light. Lifting yourself back up as you breathe in and bringing the hands back down onto the mat when you breathe out. Point the toes on the extended side, slide the leg back and bring the knee again to the floor. On your out breath now, round deeply into the back. Couple more rounds here. Vidalasana, cat and cow. You may neutralize or back bend on the inhale and exhale to round the back. So either neutral spine or tail and gaze lifting. Out breath is always rounding. And you completed your round. Find a more neutral space in the spine. You might now tuck your toes under. If it feels good, you could raise the knees off the floor and create a downward facing dog. Not yours, you might stay on all fours. Find some wiggles, even in a down dog, finding some movement that feels good. And then slowly bringing your feet to your hands, resting in a standing forward bend. Your knees ideally remain a bit soft. Perhaps your fingertips touch the floor. You could brush your fingertips around your feet. But please make sure that your belly is gently resting over your thighs as a support of the spine. Head might hang loose. As you come to the center here, keep the knees soft and then exhale to uncurl towards a standing posture. Lifting up the shoulders while you breathe in, gently shrugging them down as you breathe out. You might take a step back, whatever foot takes you to the desired long side end of the mat. And perhaps your toes are opening towards the corners of the mat. We'll join the palms of the hands together one more time. And at this moment, I would love to share my view. But perhaps you can imagine, if you're not facing a window, these beautiful colors shining in your sunlight, honoring Mother Nature. As we breathe in, opening the arms out with soft fists. A breath out to bend the knees and sink into the goddess shape. A breath in to extend the arms out to the sides and lengthen the legs. An out breath to bring opposite hand towards the bent knee, the other arm behind your back. Push into the foot. We open the arms out wide on your in-breath. Move over to the other side. Knee might bend. One arm could wrap behind for a little twist. Use the foot into the ground. Inhaling, open wide. Exhaling, changing sides. Push the floor away with the foot, opening up your in-breath. Another twist as the knee might bend on the out-breath. Movement feels great. You might work with extended legs instead of bending the knee. Trying to be kind to yourself in how you assess you, so that the movement stays smooth. You feel supported. Next round, you're coming back to your first side, still opening, but you might also raise your arm up. Perhaps there's a little pause where you bring more weight to both of your feet. And if the arm up there is yours, rest it into the side, but stay strong in the feet and legs, rolling your shoulder back in that twist. Suggestion to now bend the knee you've moved towards. Push the floor away as you straighten again, open your arms, inhale, change sides, and again the arm might lift all the way up behind you, or you could rest it into your side. Standing firm on both of your feet as you turn to twist. Perhaps bending the knee again. As you inhale, reopen your arms. And as you breathe out, roll the arms, shoulders forward, bend your knees, and try and reach towards the floor. A block might be useful here. You could then turn the heels a bit outwards to align the outer edges of your feet. You might remain on your fingertips as your legs lengthen and the spine reaches forward. You could then soften the knees a bit more and descend to a wide-legged standing forward bend. Your hands could rest down underneath your shoulders. You might take them to the outside of your legs. In any case, you could raise the shoulders gently back up into their sockets so the neck is longer. The weight is forward here in the feet, allowing perhaps a few longer exhalations to deepen Prasarita Padottanasana, the wide-legged forward bend. If you're holding onto the legs, bring the hands back down, soften your knees, heel and toe your feet closer together. And take a long out breath to uncurl to standing. Lift your shoulders as you rise up with your in-breath and shrug them down to open the palms forward on the out breath. Allow yourself to stand here with the gaze steady or your eyes closed. And just acknowledge how long it takes for your energy to come down towards the floor. So you're standing more solid, perhaps feeling more grounded. Maybe you can even see that as a deeper connection to the earth. If your eyes are closed, open them. Raise your right heel and make a choice for a tree pose. So heel to foot, heel to ankle, foot to lower leg, or even helping it right up to the upper thigh. If you choose the latest, squeeze the thigh and the foot together. If you're standing differently, be active in the standing leg, grounded properly. Feel that rise coming up all the way through the body. Where you might touch the palms together or even your forearms. If you feel your balance is stable, or you feel playful with it, take the breath and reopen the window. Soft fit on the elbows, joining the palms, perhaps forearms. There's 2 more rounds, and if you want to challenge your balance as you open the window, lifting heart and gaze. And as you bring the arms closer, you might even curl lightly forward. Keep moving slowly for better balance. On the breath in, could you open and even lift the heart? On the out breath, you might curl lightly in. As you open your window one more time, let branches unfold, releasing your feet. Softening your arms down by the side and landing on the foot. Try to do nothing, but change sides straight away, as you might lift your left heel, bringing it to the same position perhaps as on the other side, or choosing one that suits this side better. If you're not up to the inner thigh and have that pressure created, stand more firm on the standing leg and lift a bit further, growing your tree. You might then join palms or forearms together. Finding your steady gaze and point before you might inhale to open the cactus arms with the soft fit. On the out breath, releasing palms and arms back together. You enjoyed the challenge on the other side as you're opening your window, lifting your heart and gaze. On the out breath, as palms and arms join, you might lightly curl in. Only one more. Take your time. If you're dancing, enjoy it. And when you come up the next time, open back up your window. Then open your hands, creating branches for your tree. Before you release the arms and land the foot, returning to steady mountain pose. Inner heels might be active toward each other. Take a deep, slow breath in and out. And perhaps there's another one there. From there, you might raise your arms and gaze again on the inhale, joining the hands as you bend your knees, bringing them down through the midline to a forward bend. But then from here, bringing your knees down onto the ground. You might allow your toes to be tucked under, your knees to be about hip distance, and then rounding up through the spine to come and stand on the knees. Lift your shoulders, and while you shrug them back, take the hands into your lower back, bringing the hands quite close together here and pointing your fingers down towards the ground. Get a light squeeze in between the shoulder blades, moving your elbows closer. A sense of stability around your pelvis as you start to lift your heart. Ideally, underneath the hands on your lower back, nothing changes. And the heart is lifting, the back bend sits in the thoracic. If your neck is fine, push your chin out, bring the head all the way back. If not, hold here with me. Keep your heart lifted. The lower back at ease. And only for those that can maintain that ease, put your reach towards your heels. You might do so without touching, perhaps, your reach there. One more deep breath in, not changing the head, but bending the hip. As you breathe out, coming forward, you might untuck your toes. You could even stack your fists in front and rest your forehead upon, so the neck stays in a more neutral position. I do need some little movements here. Perhaps you feel the same as you could move through the pelvis and shoulders, Send a ripple through the spine to ease after the back bend. Notice how long it takes for your breath to be calm again. Back bend usually speed up the breath, limit its depth. When the breath is nice and calm, take an out breath to roll your spine up towards the seat, and then extending your legs out long in front of you. It's always handy to have a block by your side, but also perhaps gathering the things that you need for relaxation, as your legs might extend out long. Placing your hands down by your sides as you push the floor away. Take a breath in, the feet are turned upwards. As you breathe out, start to roll down. You can use your hands here as a support, maybe even land on the forearms first before you release to the ground. But we start leaving your spine in a more neutral position. You could then step your feet back onto the mat with the knees bent, hip distance apart. If you step your feet down so they feel solid and grounded, take the arms closer to the side of the body, the palms touching down. While you inhale, tilt your pelvis and squeeze your hips up on your out breath. You feel like you would like to hold here, please do. You feel like a block would be good underneath. I'm choosing mine in a halfway up setting. It could also be flat on the ground. If you have chosen to place the block underneath, allow your pelvis to adjust. You might then even keep a hold, and for a short inversion, could you lift your feet off the floor and extend the legs towards the ceiling. I will choose the floint of the feet as I pull my toes back, but extend the balls of the feet upwards so my legs are active. If you feel grounded on your support, you can relax your arms, but hold the activity in the legs. As you relax your feet, start to wiggle the toes. Then move through the ankles, perhaps even rotating the feet. If your block's halfway up, you might try to hold on to it as knees bend back towards the chest. And you could land your feet back down onto the floor. Once your feet have landed, they feel grounded again. Arms can release, and a breath in to lift the hips back up for a bridge, withdrawing the block from underneath and rolling down so as if you can feel each single vertebra touching down after the other. Once you have landed on the mat, you can choose to wiggle your feet out wide as the mat and drop your knees in. This might be a temporarily nice release around pelvis and lower back anyway, but you could stay here and just roll your arms open. If you prefer Shavasana, you've got a bolster, you might have that underneath the knees. And if not, could you slide your legs out long, turning the toes outwards. The arms will be the same, but you could snuggle the shoulder blades slightly under, feeling perhaps more grounded through the shoulders. As you arrive here, take a deeper breath in through your nose. And maybe allow a sigh out of the mouth. Perhaps that happens again. Deep breath in. Perhaps a sigh out. And then settling down onto the floor. Perhaps even finding stillness in your body. You might choose to focus more on the out breath than on the in breath at this point. And with each out breath, could you choose to let go of any discomfort or stress, wherever that might be within you? Perhaps once you've let go, you can focus back on your body, relaxing onto the floor. And you might acknowledge the grounding aspect of this shape, helping you with gravity to connect to the earth. If the earth was your main focus, you may keep it this way. Perhaps it feels better to connect to the heart space. With your mind in the heart space, perhaps connecting to your focal point, the mother figure, Mother Earth. Where you feel caring, where you feel being loved. Tapping into all the love that you receive from this person or Mother Earth. And envisioning how this love travels through your body, filling you up, even until you're overflowing with love. The breath could be your guide. Once you are filled or overflowing with love, send silent blessings to the person or Mother Earth. Thank them for sharing their love with you. Then imagine the recipient of the love overflowing with joy because of you. Noticing the circle of love created by the exchange of giving and receiving. You could then extend this love to all mothers and children of the world. Know that this flow of love is a universal life force that exists within each of us, and that you are never too old to need this love. From the day you were born, you acquired this love to survive. Tapping into this nurturing energy can remind you that you are loved unconditionally each and every day. You might now choose to return to your intention or sankalpa and place that in your heart center. From where you would take a deeper breath to open your arms up. Before, on the out breath, you might give yourself a good hug around the shoulders. Suggestion to repeat that as you extend your arms out wide again, breathing in. And the other arm might come on top for another loving embrace. Cherish yourself. Before you might release your arms, you might like a few more movements before you join me in a seated form. And as you might rise, perhaps your gaze remains low or your eyes could close. And we might bring the hands back together, touching the thumbs to the sternum, connecting once more to our heart space. One of the sources of unconditional love that connects us all, the holding within ourselves. To share and acknowledge each other, to bow. Namaste.